Hey, everybody, it's Bob at Trade Genius. Got my good friend Phil here. We got a doozy for you today. This is the most overvalued stock in the market. And when this thing goes, it's going to take everything with it. And that may start on Thursday. Stay tuned.
Trade Genius.
Hey guys, I want to tell you something that we do that really will change the way in which you look at trading and also absolutely help you increase your profitability and how much money you make. It's the Trade Genius newsletter. We put the newsletter out Sunday night through Thursday night, and this really looks at the plumbing of the markets and helps prepare you for the next trading day and help you make money. And we give you a lot of information. We give you market statistics, we give you market levels, we give you the seasonality, what's happening with different sectors of the market, and we will help you identify whether the market's in a bear mode or a bull mode, or whether it's euphoric, whether it's despondent, and it just puts you in a position to be on the right side of the trade. So take advantage of our offer that we have below, and you'll love it. I mean, one trade that you make with this thing can pay for definitely a month, maybe even a year's worth of service. It's that powerful. Use promo code podcast for 15% off the retail price of newsletter. Thanks for listening.
Okay, Phil, we've been watching this guy for a long time, and we knew, after the last earnings report that it's going to struggle here, and they're trying to give it a last gasp. Our good friend NVIDIA. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, look at this stat, Bob, right? Since hitting $403 last Monday, NVIDIA has added $13 billion in market cap up to today so far. And to put that into perspective, $138 billion of market cap would encompass Caterpillar, Intel, Verizon, Microsoft, to name a few. I mean, we're talking the entire market cap of those companies. I mean, so the bubble is still kind of here. We've had a haircut, but the bubble is definitely still here. And this is the kind of stuff that you see at the top. It's just insane moves in market caps. I mean, it's just completely unsustainable. So there's that. Then we have the banks are pumping this as well. And if the banks are pumping things, then you can be sure they're trying to lure the retail crowd into the stock. Now look at this. NVIDIA shares rise 3.7% after HSBC hikes profit target to $780, second highest on Wall Street. And there were some other ones that came out too. I just grabbed this one. So I think somebody targeted 800, Bob, or something like that. So
crazy.
This is all to get retail hyped up. Why you would want to get in at the very top is beyond me, but this is what they do. So, and now mind you, this is going into earnings. Earnings on NVIDIA comes out Wednesday after the close. Very typical thing in Wall Street is to buy the rumor and sell the news. So I get very suspicious when we see a move up into earnings, because that sets up the sell the news type of price action, where then on earnings they disappoint, we get a significant sell down. Now, why that would happen is everything's priced into perfection. You have to have just everything extremely bullish. They have to have extremely high sales. And I just don't know, Bob, because look at this next chart. I mean, we've got semiconductor inventory at extremely elevated levels, to the point where it rivals the dot-com bust, which oftentimes we relate to when it comes to this whole AI bubble thing. And I mean, even compared to the great financial crisis, even then the global semiconductor inventory wasn't that high. Obviously, this is a slowdown in tech, which is why we have this. The manufacturing doesn't forecast the impending sales properly, and all of a sudden you have a buildup in inventory because demand's dropping off. And that's kind of where our viewpoint is that, yeah, demand is dropping off. So if NVIDIA is pricing everything to perfection, you have global semiconductors basically rivaling the dot-com bust here. I smell a rat.
Yeah, and a couple things too is that NVIDIA and Intel had the same kind of financial structure profile, and NVIDIA is like it like dwarfs it, and Intel is putting more R&D in, like twice as much R&D into the future. And the other thing too is NVIDIA gets I want to say 30 to 40% of their revenue works its way through China. Okay, and not the chips that they're necessarily trying to ban, which they already have, but other chips that NVIDIA makes are through China, and China is in implosion mode right now. So this could be one of those things. We called out Super Microcomputer, Phil. Remember that? And they had a measured move down of $50, and it dropped 70, and that was from $350 to $270. It went to, now it's at $245. So I expect the measured move for NVIDIA for this move is it could be $50 either way from where it's at right now. And that's sitting at 52 as when I printed this about a half hour ago. So, the range could go as high as, if you get some sort of insane kind of conversation, all the way up to 570 area. But more likely what I'm looking at is probably a move down to 346 area to even 289 after this earning report. I mean, just what you said, there's so much riding on NVIDIA, and people have made a lot of money trading this thing. And why would you want to be in this thing when you've pushed so far over its last insane high, which was at 346? So I'm thinking 346 come back and touch that old high that they have. And if we push through it, Phil, we're going to push down there. But ultimately, NVIDIA is going down and it's going to test 108. And it's going to Eiffel Tower its whole run up from 2020. That's my view.
I agree. I think obviously the target above us here is the previous swing high at 488.88. Like I was telling you, I think that the real danger here, and you have to watch what we do into Friday, because if we spike past that and then we come back inside that high, that previous high, and we close below that on Friday, that's going to be a swing failure on the weekly chart. And you already have a sniper sell up there. Weekly sniper sells, especially on an extended move like this, that's where you want to start looking for weakness as you start to, then lose momentum, and you'll see some divergences creep in, and then things can roll back over. But I'm with you. I think, to me, this is .com 2.0 all over again, 2001. Everything's way overhyped. Not that the tech's gonna just be vaporware. I think the tech's here to stay, much like websites were here to stay, and that's what fueled the .com bubble. But these valuations are just completely unsustainable. And on top of that, you've got liquidity coming out of the system. You guys have seen the M2 charts, and liquidity is exiting stage left in that regard to recessionary prints. So big disconnect here with this. It's a big bubble. People aren't grasping it. You got the banks coming out raising price targets, and I think this is just generating exit liquidity ultimately. So, but I think this is a big, the weekly close here is going to be really huge as to whether or not we start to roll over from this move, or does it extend out a little bit further, like you said, and potentially get that higher extension. I think this weekly close is going to be very telling in that regard.
Yeah, and I'm leaning towards the it's to roll over on this thing too, is that with the liquidity drying up, Phil, I think it's going to be a big problem. And the way to play this, don't try to buy puts on NVIDIA. Okay, you're going to lose money. No matter if you're right, you're going to lose money, unless you get really, really, really lucky. The way you play NVIDIA is that you can buy shares of NVDS. And I would say just take a half a position on it. And if you're right and it dumps, NVDS will go up a lot and you'll be happy, and you'll be pissed off they didn't have a full position. But if it does spike for some reason, you take your second position at NVDS. It's a 1.25 leverage short of NVIDIA. And I think you'll be very happy with that over time. So that would be the play that I would recommend you take. And I wouldn't touch this thing, because tomorrow we're likely to push the markets up higher again, Phil, because it looks like we're basically doing a crazy Ivan from the Thursday sell-off. Probably match that on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, all eyes are going to be on NVIDIA.
I agree with you. And we got Jackson Hole toward the end of the week too. So we got a lot of reasons why markets could drive up into these events. And then we look for a sell later on after that. All right, guys. Well, let us know what you think. You think that our analysis is spot on, or do you think NVIDIA is just going to keep on trucking and we're not in a bubble? Love to hear your thoughts below. And as always, thank you for watching. Check out our newsletter and specials at tradegenius.co. Bob, thank you so much. Glad you made it through the hurricane, and we'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Take care.
Trade